And we are good.
Okay. Should we call this to order then? Okay, so my agenda is still loading here. We go roll call. Is that
Yes,
correct?
so Commissioner Berg,
Present.
Commissioner Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Aguirre online.
Present.
Thank you. Chair Miller is out on vacation in the Swiss Alps. Commissioner Davis
Here.
and Vice Chair Stevens.
Here.
And then Commissioner Terry relayed he would not be here.
Okay. So we go into the general public comments. We've got one that was emailed to us. They asked to read this at the meeting here. Says, my name is Ryan Harris and I'm a professional artist. I'm pretty new to Coos Bay, but would love to do some public art to beautify our city. I've attached a link to my work. I would love to be a part of any upcoming projects. Thanks. So city administration has Ryan's contact information, and they will be in touch if there are any projects that meet the criteria for the art that he does. Are there any other public comments? Any going once? Okay. Hearing none, I believe we can go into the estuary management plan discussion, and we are just needing to close that for general discussion, correct, and go into planning commission deliberation and action at this point?
Correct. And I can give a brief kind of recap for the benefit of the public.
Sure.
Just before we move on. So this land use application is for legislative amendments to our city's comprehensive plan and the text of our development code related to the Coos Bay Estuary Management Plan Phase 1 updates that are happening, have been happening, being coordinated with City of Coos Bay, City of North Bend, and Coos County. The amendments Coos Bay is proposing related to our comprehensive plan is that we would repeal Volume 3 of the city's comprehensive plan because it is the city's standalone estuary plan document. And the goal here would be to replace that by adoption by reference of the actual multi-jurisdictional estuary plan that's going to be maintained at the county level. So that's one piece. Another piece would be to repeal and replace in its entirety the text of Chapter 17.352 in the city's development code, which relates to estuarine and coastal shoreline uses and activities, the regulations. And the substantial changes in that amendment are, nothing is changing in how things are being implemented. We're just trying to clarify current rules and align it with other parts of the code. And so we'd be clarifying that all the uses and activities that happen in the estuary, they need to be reviewed for compliance with the adopted plan. That's what we do already. We just want to make it clear that's what's happening. We want to identify the applicable estuary management units just so that staff, public know what they are. Clarify that the estuary plan is when it conflicts with underlying zoning regulations, that the regulations in the estuary, those are the controlling factors. That is true today. That's how we implement it today. Clarifying the application contents and review process for estuarine permits, just to make sure that those are in line with other pieces of our development code. And then identifying in that chapter the approval criteria for estuarine permits, just to make it very clear. Another piece is that we're looking to amend section 17.360.020, which relates to how these legislative amendments can be initiated. And we want to add that staff can initiate amendments. And the purpose of that is just to make the process more efficient. Right now, staff has to ask planning commission okays, then we have to ask council okay, so there's maybe 2 months of time spent trying to get the okay to move forward with amending code. So it's just an efficiency measure, and it doesn't change the fact that council still has to ultimately approve it after public engagement. Also, there's a piece to amend section 17.360.040 of the development code related to the contents of an application for an amendment. And this is specifically related to any time somebody wants to make an amendment to the estuary plan, because we want to make sure things are coordinated. If somebody comes to the city of Coos Bay and says, I want to amend it, we are asking that they provide a written recommendation of the steering committee that shows everybody's on the same page. So those are the brief overview of the amendments being proposed tonight. Some background. Planning Commission and Council held a joint work session back in December, and they reviewed the proposal, the project, and the city at that time recommended we move forward with the proposed amendments, and that includes this partial update of the estuary plan, which we are referring to as phase 1. And after that time, the amendment procedures were delayed. We allowed for more opportunity for public comment, and then made the official application for this case on June 1 of 2023. And so since that time, Planning Commission conducted the initial public hearing on their July 11th meeting, and they took public comment and then continued the hearing to tonight. They left the record open for a 2-week time period to allow for additional written comment. So that's all happened. Through that process, we received 3 additional written comments, and those comments primarily touched on the need for a comprehensive plan update of the CABEM, not just the partial update, but move it forward and do a full update, and also addressed the composition of the various committees that would be involved in that future update. And so staff agrees, we all know we need a comprehensive plan update. However, at this time, moving forward with phase 1 is really the best step to make progress in that respect. To address the concerns related to making sure that comprehensive plan update happens and making sure all the important stakeholders are involved, staff is recommending that the city adopt a resolution that would do the following things, like evidence the city's commitment to coordinate with the different partners, City of North Bend, Coos County, to pursue the comprehensive update, pursue funding. It would outline the scope of work needed for that comprehensive update, and it would reference the intended list of stakeholders that would make up the Citizen Advisory Committee and also the Technical Advisory Committee. And that's committees representing our community locally and committees kind of representing the scientific community. There's a memo that our consultant put out on July 10th that's included in this packet as attachment C of the staff report, and it kind of goes into detail about what that resolution would look like. And it's also important to note that doing this is beneficial in that such a resolution will be needed if and when the city pursues funding for additional phases. And I can say that there are conversations ongoing about pursuing some funding, and so this would be right in time with that application process. Yeah, so that's a real brief overview, and just to kind of conclude now, the public comment period is closed as of the end of the 2-week written comment period submittal. Planning Commission has the full proposal, including that additional written testimony, in front of them tonight, and your role, Planning Commission, is going to be to make a recommendation to council based on the information presented to date. Planning Commission can officially close that public hearing, deliberate, and make your recommendation. There is a recommended motion in your packet on the cover page, about page 5 or 6 of the agenda. And so I will leave it to you, Vice Chair Stevens.
So we will officially declare that public hearing closed on the matter. Is there any deliberation amongst the commissioners at all? Commissioner Aguirre?
Nothing on my end. I think the staff report was perfect, and I'm all about aligning with the county and North Bend.
Thank you. Any?
Nothing for me.
Okay, well, it looks like there's a recommended motion on the table that reads pretty well. Does anyone want to take action on that?
Like to make a motion that we approve and adopt by ordinance land use application 187-23-165 PLNG based on the information presented by the applicant. Recommended findings of approval as presented in Exhibit 3 of Attachment A as presented to the Planning Commission on July 11, 2023, and adopt a resolution as outlined by the University of Oregon memo dated July 10, 2023, to evidence the city's commitment to complete a comprehensive update of the SBEP, including an inclusive public engagement process, together with the attachments on record.
A second.
Okay, Commissioner Marino made the motion, and I think Commissioner Davis edged out Commissioner Berg on that second by just this much.
So
A
close.
little quicker next time. All in favor of the motion as presented?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries unanimous.
That's it?
I believe that would close the matter on that. Do we have any commissioner comments? Going once, going twice, hearing none. Any staff comments?
No.
Okay, well, all right, thank you, everybody. That's it.
That's gotta be the fastest one.